let's get into the hate side now. Obviously, we're gonna go to the hate side. Who's a receiver you're lower on than consensus? Who is a receiver right now, P, that you're lower on than consensus?
It's crazy, man, because I'm going to keep it into Chicago with it, man. Right now, ADP at 40, you got to get this guy in the late third. It's DJ Moore. You know what I'm saying? Last year, he's coming off of a huge season, his best season to date, DJ Moore. Before that, you can book 1,104, 1,105. But last year, he busted out into the tune of 1,308 with 96 catches. That type of volume, you're not going to see anymore in Chicago in this offense. Yeah, he did get a contract, but just like the dude you were just talking about, Keenan Allen is there now. You know what I mean? They drafted Rome Odunze. All of that is ran by, the conductor of this offense is a rookie quarterback. So truly, how many mouths are there to feed? I rarely see any camaraderie between DJ Moore and Caleb Williams. It always seems to be like DJ Moore's over there kicking it with Rome Odunze. It always seems like, it always seems like Caleb Williams kicking with Rome Odunze. It seems like he's being ushered in by Keenan Allen. Where's the love for DJ Moore? Right now, you have to take him in the late third round. And some other players that I think that are better than him, DJ Moore, that you can get behind him, I'd rather have Michael Pittman a few picks later. I'd rather have T. Higgins. You could get a full round later. I do appreciate the upside. Keenan Allen there. Even at wide receiver 78. At wide receiver 34, you can get him in the seventh round. Calvin Ridley. All those players I think are going to outperform DJ Moore. And not to mention, you got the rookie, you got all these other weapons around him, a lot of safety blankets. Those winners out there from a SoCal guy, USC, coming to Chicago to play. Let's see how the wind chill affects him and what that's going to do for DJ Moore. So I'm fading DJ Moore. I think last year was an outlier. And just based off all the weapons around him and his competition to 4 targets in that offense, yeah, I'm fading DJ Moore as ADP.
I'm not mad at the fade, man. And DJ Moore is a player we know to have limited upside over the years. So last year seems like it might have been an outlier. We'll find out about him. All right. So a receiver that I am fading this year is, for whatever reason, in this fantasy analyst, this metrics and analytics space, the community loves Chris Olave. He's a separator. He gets open. His ADOT, when you use it the wrong way, his ADOT. This is a guy that's going in the second round right now. His ADP has skyrocketed. In some leagues, you'll see him wide receiver 8. ESPN ADP, wide receiver 8, which is absolutely insane to me. Now, he was a wide receiver 6 last season. So, he had over 1,100 yards, 5 touchdowns, 80 catches. But now the expectation is that Clint Kubiak is here. And guess what? Now Chris Olave is just going to take this massive jump forward. Well, when you think about it, what did Clint Kubiak do in San Francisco? Improve the run game, was efficient on third downs, which Chris Olave seems really suited for that role, right? Getting open, use a lot of motion at the line of scrimmage, put players in specific spots, specifically Debo. There's a Debo Samuel role, right? So where does Chris Olave profile in this offense? To me, he feels like a Brandon Ayuk-ish type guy who was limited on targets, highly efficient, sometimes using the red zone. That sounds like Chris Olave, right? And Brandon Ayuk finishes the wide receiver 14 last year. So if we're talking about an 80 catch, 1,300 yard, 5 to 7 touchdown season, doesn't that sound about right for Chris Olave in that role? That means we're probably missing out on a different player who may be in that role, and that might be Taysom Hill, who might be better suited for that Debo Samuel role, my man. So you talk about how they can use him. They use him in the backfield. They use him at the line of scrimmage. They use him in the run game, in motion. So just a little side note there on Taysom Hill. But really, what are we expecting from Chris Olave in this offense? Are you expecting a 100-catch upside? Are you expecting 10 touchdown upside? Like, neither of those are coming for him. So really the only thing is like if you're expecting 1,300 yards, if you're pushing more than that, I think that's asking too much for a guy in Derek Carr who always puts up the same numbers. Literally, he's 4,025 every single year. So you can do he's literally the exact same player every year. To expect something different from the same results, they call that what, P? They call that insanity. And unfortunately for Chris Olave, he is who he is. Do I think he can get better in his role? Yes. Do I think he can get better in fantasy? No. You're drafting him because you think he's going to take the next leap. His ceiling is limited. I think his floor is high. We know who Olave is. And one thing I haven't talked about is that he's small. We've seen him get banged up at times. Be careful with Chris Olave and a lot of the love that goes for him. I got him towards the back end of my top 20 as opposed to the top end.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, just to comment on that, man, Chris Olave profiles as a DJ Moore, in my opinion, man. They lightweight one and the same, man. So, I what really is his ceiling? Does he provide a safe floor? Yeah. Are there several wide receivers I would take behind him that I think will outproduce him? Hell yeah. And that's what the hell we're talking about here, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what the hell we're talking about. We could get Brandon Ayuk a full round later, and we're hoping that Olave can beat Brandon Ayuk. So it don't make no sense, man. It don't make no goddamn sense.
I never understood drafting a player that you hope can be something when there's that player right there in front of you and their situation hasn't changed. Sometimes the situation changes. Like DJ Moore's situation changed. But sometimes the situation's the exact same, and you're still drafting that player ahead of him. It makes no sense to me.
Zero.
But we got one more, P. One more player we got to fade, and this is the bonus player, right? Who's a bonus player that you're going against consensus on, my man?
All right, bonus player.
Don't ever do that look again,
nah, that's the P look. Nah, I'm gonna tell you like this, man. Bonus player I'm fading at his ADP is none other than Devon Achane, man. So I happen to have a lot of Devon Achane in dynasty leagues, and for me, he's one of the biggest sell highs. When it comes to fluke injuries, I get it. I don't let that factor into my ADP. But if we're talking somebody who is 165 pounds soaking wet, I know he's not that small. Don't get me wrong. I know he's not that small.
25 pounds this offseason.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's funny because, to me, they talk about that. They talk about how much weight he added. And you can't deny his talent when he's on the field. But to me, when they're talking about, he added X amount of weight, yada, yada, this, that, there's a lot of coach talk in that. You know what I'm saying? There's not many people who could just add on 25 pounds with his stature. And you accompany that with being in the RB position. Yes, the dude is insanely fast. But right now, you have to get him in the second round. He's going as RB 11. In the top 25 picks. When I see him profiling more and I'm going to take it back here with you. I see him profiling more as far as a career-wise goes as more of like a 2017, 2016 Darren Sproles on the Saints. You know what I'm saying? Great player. Am I drafting Darren Sproles with the Saints in the second round? No, sir. I'm going to tell you like this, man. If you got him, premier sell high candidate. They drafted another running back to shore up that RB room. They extended Raheem Mostert. This dude, it'd be one thing if he got, some injuries just randomly, but it's been his legs. It's been that, he'd been having MCL sprains or whatever it is. He's a little dude. You know what I'm saying? And when you got a little dude, how big of a workload do you think they're going to give you at that RB position? And on top of that, you could just read between the lines with how they're trying to shore up the RB room. For that reason, I'm out.
I got you, bro. I think a lot of people are just assuming that Achane's going to take on like a 20, 25 touch workload.
No.
I don't get it. I don't get the love with Devon Achane. Like, I get the upside. And if you want to take the upside like an RB2 range, I'm cool with it. But a lot of times you got to take him as like your RB1. It just does not make sense to me. And that's not a lot of people. The term league winner comes out about him because they look at that 50-point game against the Broncos. And it's like he don't got 50-point a game workload. Like, what the fuck? What are we doing? Anyway, my last player to fade, man. And this is I think this is kind of a hot take. Is Malik Neighbors, who's going as wide receiver 22 on Fantasy Pros ADP right now.
Ooh.
The receivers that are going behind Malik Neighbors are DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, T. Higgins, George Pickens, Chris Godwin, Calvin Ridley, all 1,000-yard guys in their own right. And who does Malik Neighbors have throwing him the fucking football? Danny fucking Dimes. A guy that's never thrown for 3,200 yards. A guy that's never produced a receiver over 800 yards. And this is the man we have the faith in, that Malik Neighbors is all of a sudden just going to come in there and shine immediately because of what he did in college and what he profiles to be as a receiver. Receivers need quarterbacks. Receivers need good offenses. And yes, Brian Daboll is one of the better offensive minds in the game. But do you really think that Malik Neighbors is going to come in and have 90 catches, 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns with Danny Dimes at quarterback? Guess what? The leading receiver that's been on this team for the last 4 years, Darius Slayton, is still there. The team drafted Wan'Dale Robinson in the second round. He is still there. The team drafted Jalen Hyatt in the third or fourth round. He is still there. All of these weapons are still here. And do y'all think that this Giants offense is going to be like a top 10 offense in the league or closer to bottom 5 in the league? How are they going to score touchdowns? How are they going to move the ball down the field? This is a real problem that I think people are just saying, I see the prospect, he's automatically going to be great. And sometimes it takes prospects time. We saw this with JSN last year. Everybody expected him to be in there. He was outside of the top 35 receivers last year. We saw Quentin Johnston. The expectation was he was going to be good, and we saw that turned out. Listen, I get it. I get the love for rookies, but Malik Neighbors is going way too high right now. Wide receiver 22 is absolutely insane. I'm out on him.
I love me some. I like Malik. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna have to pause myself. I like Malik, but that is pretty high to go for, and his ADP has been rising based off of what he's been doing in practice, which is impressive. And I will tell you that the stud wide receivers coming out of LSU, they are impressive. Will Malik Neighbors be that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's been impressive what he's done in training camp and preseason, seeing all the highlight stuff. But then we look at the preseason game, right? He had one standout game. There was another game where he was getting open at will, and the ball just didn't come his way. And he even mentioned that. He said, look, I can't always get the ball, even if he's open. So to me, that lets me know, like, the quarterback issue is heavy. It's a heavy thing that's going to weigh on his mind. And as a player, he's going to get frustrated with it. You can already kind of tell the guy he is. So I think if you're looking at Malik Neighbors, you really got to take into a fact that, like, this quarterback play is not going to get better. It's only going to get worse because at some point, this team is going to bench Danny Dimes and they're going to go to Drew Lock.
Sleeper alert.
Sleeper
alert. Nah, but I'm going to tell you like this, man. We got to stop calling him Danny Dimes. We got Danny Nichols or something, because if it ain't 5 yards, it ain't
Daniel
happening.
Jones, regular. Daniel Jones, 2 regular names. That's what the fuck he is.
You got to add in his middle initial. Daniel F. Jones.
I bet you his middle name's Michael. Daniel Michael Jones, man. God damn. Yeah, well, listen, that does it for our picks against consensus, good and bad. Y'all already know what it is, man. Drop a follow, drop a like, drop a sub, whatever it is. We'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out, y'all.